Infamous Second Son was really underrated in my opinion, and I think it deserves more recognition. I think the main reason why it got quite overlooked is because it decided to follow a different protagonist from the previous games, and its story is also not as strong as the previous games, which is quite a shame, but I still think it's quite decent. And while I agree to a certain extent, to these criticisms, I think the other aspects of these games manages to make up for these flaws. In this video, I will be discussing why I believe it's actually quite a good game, and another note, this video will contain spoilers, so if you want to avoid them, I advise that you don't watch this video yet. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. I think the story is better than what most people are saying, as it grows and develops Delsin as a character that does not really know where he's going in life to a character that has a very compelling goal to achieve. If you decide to go with the good karma version of this game, it shows Delsin learning to use his powers for good while also trying to save the other conduits in the game. He also manages to change Reggie's entire view of conduits, which is such a great development for his character. The side characters in the story are also quite well developed, with each of the characters having an interesting backstory, especially in the case of the antagonist Augustine. At first, you think she is a completely evil character, but you later find out reasons why she is doing what she is doing, which really helps to build her character. It made Augustine an interesting character and not your typical one-dimensional villain. However, if I had to change one thing about the story, it would be having the different karma options have more of an impact during the story. Yes, the different karma actions resulted in two completely different endings, which is good, but I wish there was more of a difference during the actual missions. Another problem I have with the story is how the game handles Reggie's death when you are doing an evil playthrough. Reggie says the exact same dialogue he would have said in the good playthrough, which just doesn't make any sense, as you are doing things much more brutally and in such a worse manner in your evil playthrough. Despite my problems with this evil karma side of the story, I think the story as a whole is quite decent on the good side, and most people will be able to enjoy it. I mean, I certainly did, even though it wasn't one of the strongest parts of the game. Now, the gameplay is definitely the strongest part of this game due to how well the powers work. They all look beautiful and are really fun to use. I love how it makes you feel like an overpowered superhero that can't be stopped. The smoke power is probably the best looking power, and it feels very powerful. My only problem with it is that it's harder to use in the second section of the game due to how it's built more vertically, but I get it, as the second part of the game is built for you to use your video powers more often as you get that power towards the end of the game, and it's built for you to scale very high buildings. The neon power is also very nice to use, as it makes you feel like a speed demon that's faster than everybody else. It looks very beautiful too, but my problem with it is that it can get a little bit too bright. If it was dialed down just a little bit, then it would have been perfect. The video power is also another very cool power due to the invisibility that it provides. The projectiles that you shoot out is also probably the coolest projectile in the entire game, and it's even better when you are using it while hovering in the air. Finally, we have the concrete power that we get when we defeat Augustine, which is probably the most underwhelming power, sadly, due to it not having a karma finisher like the rest of the powers and the other abilities not being as good as its counterparts. The karma finishers were really rewarding to get when you managed to subdue or execute a certain amount of enemies, which made it feel very rewarding. It is kind of sad that Concrete did not get it, but it was still at least a decent power to use. The enemy variety also was decent, but it could have been better. They had too much of the same guys appearing in most combat situations, which is sad, as there were really other powerful enemies like the brutes and an enhanced concrete soldier that normally hovers, and they did not use them enough. Despite these problems, I still had a lot of fun in combat due to the amazing powers, and the boss fights were very decent and creative. The Fetch boss fight required you to get rid of an energy source to defeat her, while a Eugene boss fight was impressive as you were fighting a massive angel in another virtual world. The Augustine boss fight was also very neat, as you were fighting a veteran of concrete powers while you had to learn them while trying to defeat her. Another great thing about these powers are the different moves that you can acquire through the skill tree, as well as the different karmic playthroughs, which really enhances the replayability of this game. My favorite side mission in this game was definitely the DUP mobile stations, where you had to clear out tons of DUP troops, as it was the perfect place to showcase your powers and improve on them. The other ones were quite fun as well, like the audio recorder missions, as you learn more about the world and more about Augustine and Curtin K, which is some nice lore and character building. The spray missions were also cool, as the artworks were very creative. However, some of the bad karma artworks could be passed on as good karma sprays, but it's alright, as there were only a few of them and the artwork was quite sick overall. The secret DUP agent missions were fun, as you had to find a disguised agent to take out and chase, and the hidden camera mission was alright as well. The district showdowns were a bit disappointing for me, as they were supposed to be a DUP's final showdown for that district, but it feels so much easier than the DUP mobile stations, which should not be the case. They should be throwing everything they have on you. However, despite these few problems, the side missions were quite diverse and fun, which helps to keep the game from getting stale. This game also performs quite decently on the PS4 and PS5. On the PS5, it runs at a stable 4K 60 and it's the best place to play it right now. It runs at a stable 30 frames on the PS4 if you set the frame rate limit to 30. I don't recommend setting the frame rate to unlimited on the PS4, as the last time I tried that, my frames per second really fluctuated a lot. So if you're playing on the PS4, I recommend you to set a 30 FPS limit. I'm also really surprised how beautiful the game still looks today, considering it's already 8 years old. Infamous Second Son is a really good game that I wish got a bit more recognition, and I know I'm not alone on this thought process. The gameplay is fun and the story is quite interesting, even though we are not following Cole anymore. It's quite a shame that Sucker Punch confirmed that they won't be doing an Infamous game for a while, as I really want one in the future. I hope we will get one after the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, as it would be a very wasted opportunity to ignore the Infamous franchise. Alright guys, this is about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any potential video ideas that you would like to see, don't be afraid to suggest them in the comment section below. So with that being said, this has been 2369 Ruben, signing out.